Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to this brand new installment of Renegade Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams, here to answer your viewer-submitted questions, and I've got 5 of them today I'm going to get to. First one from Mr. Randy Smooth, who asks, do I feel that Samoa Joe needs to jump ship to WWE, as I feel TNA are shitting all over a great talent like him? It's an interesting question because there was a while back there where I would have said hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts, yes, Joe needs to go to the WWE. But I don't think WWE would use Joe the right way either. I think the best we would get out of Joe in WWE would be a feud with Punk, maybe Daniel Bryan, and then he'd taper off. Joe doesn't fit in. He's not small enough of a guy to do all the cruiserweight stuff WWE would demand from a Rey Mysterio, a Sin Cara type wrestler. Joe can move like a cruiserweight for his size, but he's also not freakishly big enough to be a sideshow attraction like the Big Show, like the Great Khali. He would just kind of like linger in the middle there. I would see Samoa Joe doing no better than possibly Intercontinental or United States Champion, sadly in WWE. I don't see them putting the world title on him because if they were going to do it for Joe, they could have done it with Taz. Taz was a lot smaller than Joe, both height-wise and weight-wise, but Taz had a very similar move set to Joe with the suplexes and the submissions. So I don't think that WWE would use Joe properly either, but that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys out there in the internet world think? Should Joe go to WWE or stick in TNA? Because at least TNA's made him world champion. Ricky Lawson, frequent contributor, wants to know, hey JJ, what are your thoughts on WWE signing El Generico and trying out other indie talent like Adam Cole and Sami Callihan? I'm very torn on my thoughts about El Generico getting signed. On the one hand, I've seen that dude come up since 2005, going to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. He was in Ring of Honor. You know, he fought Kevin Steen for the title in a ladder match at Final Battle. So on the one hand, it's like, congratulations to my boy El Generico, you made it to the big time. But then there's the downside of it. There's no cruiserweight division. They're going to totally screw his gimmick over, probably unmask him, knowing WWE, because they've already got Mysterio and Sin Cara, and we see how often Sin Cara's on TV, almost as much as Rey Mysterio, except, you know, they're both out for either drug suspensions or injuries. You know, I don't see Generico making a huge impact in WWE. He will probably be a low to mid-card talent at best, sadly, and Generico deserves a lot better than that. So while I am very proud of, you know, somebody I've seen all these years get into the big time, it's very bittersweet for me, because I know that they're just going to fuck him over. As far as Adam Cole and Sami Callihan, unfortunately I haven't seen a whole lot of their work, but with there being really no territories anymore and just a huge indie scene in the States and even in the European and, you know, Canada and everything, that's where WWE has to look these days. They've got to look to the indie scene. So congratulations to Cole and Callihan, but I've never really seen any of their work to be able to judge if them going to the E would be a good or a bad thing. Big M Express. I'm a big fan of Hunico. I dig his aerial moves and mat wrestling. I know being out with an injury doesn't always get you over, but why isn't Hunico a bigger star than he currently is? And how can WWE push him when he returns? Well, the only reason Hunico, I believe, got a job to begin with was because Sin Cara got injured. or failed the wellness policy. I forget what it was the first time. And they needed to bring in the fake Sin Cara. That's the only reason Hunico got a job in the first place. And more often than not, he performs better than the real Sin Cara does. So, why he's not getting a bigger push, and how can they push him when he returns? They need to make him and Camacho a serious threat for the tag team titles if they're going to keep him around. Camacho is a very imposing figure there at ringside. Not near as imposing as a Big E Langston, but he still does his job. And Hunico and Camacho would be a great full-time addition to their revitalizing of the tag division. You know, you got the primetime players, you've got the 3MB, you've got Rey and Sin Cara when Sin Cara comes back. You know, you add Hunico and Camacho in there, and you've got the beginnings of a really solid division. Team Hell No, currently the champs. Other teams that you can put back together, you know, now that Miz and Truth are babyface, why not put the Awesome Truth back together as a tag team, as a face tag team? Something to think about. Nappy1987 said, was this last week's CM Punk promo on Raw better than the original pipe bomb in Vegas? And was this also the best promo ever against The Rock in the history of WWE? Well, I'm going to answer the second part first. As far as the best promo against The Rock in the history of WWE, I would say it's tied with Cena's freestyles last year. When Cena came out and they did the rap off and the Rock concert in the same night, Cena was on point. Rock needed to go for about a good 20 minutes in his Rock concert making jokes. Cena came out there, threw up, you know, the old word life symbol, and in 2 minutes he just ripped Rock to shit and bounced. So I would say that Punk's promo last week is kind of on that level as far as best promos against The Rock, because Punk went on for a little bit. I mean, hell, they even cut to commercial break. He was going on so long. Cena had the effectiveness in 2 minutes. As far as was it better than the original pipe bomb, maybe it's just me, but I'm going to say no, since I was actually there for the pipe bomb. I was in the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas when that went off. So that'll always be one of those special moments for me. You know, I don't know, Nappy1987, maybe you remember a few years back when WWE was doing the commercials with like, I was there when Austin 316 was born. I was there when this happened. I was there. I was there for the pipe bomb. So that's always going to be special for me. What do you guys out there in internet land think? Was the original Vegas pipe bomb better than Punk's pipe bomb last week against The Rock? Let me know. Post your comments in the comment boxes. Give me video responses. I'll post them into my next show. Last question, one I've been putting off for about a week. Raven Puck, I'm finally getting to your question. How would you book a Nitro flashback? And part of the reason I kept putting this off was because this was really hard to do. I was trying to think of who WWE had on their current roster that they could still use, and who don't they have that's not in TNA and that's still on decent terms with them. So I came up with a 6-match card. I hope you enjoy it. Most of y'all out there probably won't like it, but whatever. I'm doing the best I could with what I have. So, in that vein, I would have Chris Jericho, Lionheart, Chris Jericho with Ralphus versus Six, aka X-Pac. I would have Jean-Paul Levesque, Triple H, versus the master of the Diamond Cutter, Diamond Dallas Page. I would have Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Billy Kidman. In tag team action, I would have Lord Steven Regal and Squire David Taylor, the Blue Bloods, versus Booker T and Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat. I would have, in a rematch from Starrcade, Goldberg versus Kevin Nash. And my main event would be the Giant, aka the Big Show, versus Mean Mark Collis with Paul Heyman. There you go. That's what I would do for a Nitro Flashback. What do y'all think out there in internet land? Leave me your comments, leave me video responses. Ask me questions with video responses, people. Please, I will download them, put them in the next episode, and answer your question. You'll be part of the show. That's it for right now. I want to again apologize for the lateness of Renegade this week going up. I want to apologize for the lateness of In the Pink, because that's probably going to be up a little bit later than normal for tomorrow. Everything should be back to normal come Statboy on Wednesday. Just want to apologize for all that again. I had my daughter here this weekend, and it was kind of hard to film with her around. She doesn't care about wrestling. It's hard to keep a 4-year-old quiet, and I can't cuss and get my point across the way I really want to you guys with little 4-year-old ears around. So I apologize again for that. Until next time, until Friday's episode of Renegade of Wrestling, I am your host, JJ Williams, and we will see you next time right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel.